And if you do one online, it's so much more efficient because there's not all that wine.
Yeah. Yeah.
By the time people are, well, I don't know what you think. It's like, I think you've had too much wine.
Yes, yes.
But,
which is also fun. It's fun to socialize
sure.
with your, but that, I would say that for my friends, going out and socializing, we could talk about the stories, but to me, writing, you have to be serious. You have to really settle down and write, and that's hard to do when you're just with your friends, or even writing groups, you do make friends that way, one-on-one, and I do better with people I haven't met, and they can just tell me the way it is, and they're busy, so they can't take a lot of time just playing with it. They'll read it, criticize it, send it back, and then I can get right back into fixing it.
I mean, had you taken writing classes over the course of your life at all, or are you mostly just sort of self-taught? And
pretty much just self-taught.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And I've always told stories, written stories. It's the one thing I really enjoy writing. I really enjoy writing these stories down, and it's fun. So.
Well, now that you've gone through the whole experience of, you know, writing a book and finding an editor and a publisher and that whole process, and you said it's self-published?
It's not self-published.
No.
It's called
print on demand.
It's print on demand.
Okay.
But the publisher they're called e-publishers. So they will do the ebook first, which is like the Kindle or the Nook, you know, whichever palm reader, whatever people have. You can buy the Kindle version. They also do paper books. So the ebook came out first, then the Kindle book came out next. So it's like a step above self-publishing because money doesn't come out of my pocket for it. They take care of all of that. They provide the editor. They come up with the cover and they print it out. And it's called a POD, the print on demand, because they don't print out a whole lot of them. They don't like print out 200 and sell them. People order it and then they print them out and sell it.
So now, do they arrange for you to do a book tour at all, or is all the promotion up to you?
We both do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of work together and set up. Mostly we're doing online tours with different websites and stuff.
How does an online tour work?
There is a lot.
It's your face.
Yes, exactly.
Hi, I'm here.
You know, everyone has a blog. So usually there's a lot of people who will interview authors. They will do reviews of your book online. So I've done a lot of that. And that's a book tour. You go to these different websites.
Oh my gosh, I think that's
blogs.
cool.
It's so awesome.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah. Oh, well, neither have I until I started this whole e-publishing thing. But it's actually very fun. And I've been doing it probably 3 months now to different, maybe 2 or 3 blogs a week. And you either do an author interview where they ask you questions, or I just write a blog on, because since Alex is psychic, I've done it on, like, are people really psychic, or do people believe in you know, the psychic abilities? I've done on friendships, because he's made some really strong friendships in the book. So you can blog pretty much about anything you want. And then you would put it on their website, and it kind of advertises your book, and then you as an author, and it's just a way of selling the book that way.
So how does Alex develop the gift for friendship when he really has had so little in his life? Is that a secret?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, he works at a bookstore. And so the people who work there kind of, they know what he's like. They know he's very shy and quiet and introverted, but they're just very nice people. So they kind of draw him out, and they have friends with them. One of the girls there is a good friend of his called Angie, and her husband just kind of pal around with him all the time. They just seem to really like him, even though he's got his little problems. And so they're like really close friends with him and help him through the difficult things that come up.
I know a question. Now here's the thing. When he is getting these flashes, is he kind of like an undercover crime solver, or are all of his friends involved in this as well?
I would say his friends are involved, because it happens whenever he could be sitting at lunch and he just gets this vision, pretty much, and he'll get a vision, or he'll be out with friends and he'll get a vision. It just kind of strikes him. A lot of times he'll just kind of have this vision and then wake up and not realize what had happened or where he'd been, and it's like,
dude, you were talking to yourself.
Right, because they're very real when he's having the flashbacks and stuff. So just kind of happens wherever, and a lot of people just like, what's wrong with this guy, and they just kind of shun him. But
have you ever actually known anybody who's psychic that you think is psychic?
no.
No.
Never have met him.
Did you do like a lot of research about psychic
yeah,
people?
I did.
Or?
Yeah. Well, I'm fascinated with the whole subject that people could be psychic. So.
Well, what do you come away with? Do you think it's possible?
Yes, but I think there would have to be extreme circumstances to bring out people's psychic abilities. So in my book, I have Alex was raised in isolation by his mother. And just a lot of, he was abused, so he has a lot of all this emotional things happening to him and being isolated. A lot of his life takes place in his mind, because his friends and all, because he had no friends, so he had to make up a life for himself in his mind. So that really developed his brain, I think, to a point where he could be psychic, where just a lot of internal life that most of us don't have because we have our friends and our stimulation from family members and stuff.
I guess it's true if you're always, looking outside yourself and you're not looking inward, then it's maybe more difficult to develop that, unless it really is a gift.
Oh, yeah.
In which case, you don't really have much control. It's just going to happen.
It just happens, and I'm sure that happens to people. This was just one way. I was trying to think, how could a person be psychic? And to me, this would be one way to bring out that talent he had. Kind of develop
Why I like this is because my own personal, little pet opinion theory is that we probably are all psychic, but it's really blocked. But if you think about being psychic or telepathic communication, it's the most efficient communication there could possibly be.
Oh, yeah.
And so when people talk about, like when email came out, like the whole concept of email, and you think of energy mail, so that you just think a thought to somebody and then they know what you're thinking.
Wouldn't that be?
You don't have to mess with the computer.
That would be good, except if you're thinking something bad.
Well, if you want to, but if you decide that you want to project a thought to somebody, I guess I kind of think that's possible. So I like the idea of this in the book, that somebody could actually open themselves up and get that, but yet he's using it for good, obviously.
Yeah. He
tries. Not for the lottery.
No.
Or the horse racing.
No.
Some people always talk about, if only I knew the ponies.
Yeah. No, I think if he had a choice, he wouldn't want to be psychic, because the things he sees are not nice and they're not pleasant to see. But if you get a vision of someone in trouble, his first instinct is to go and help them. He just has to, because it's like they call him, and sometimes he has no control of what he does. They're calling to him, he has to go no matter what's going on. He just drops everything and goes. So
leaving the customer in mid-sale.
Pretty much, yes.
So does he meet the woman who becomes his wife? Does he meet her through the bookstore?
Well, actually.
Or is that a secret?
That's fine, because it's right in the very beginning. What it was is, when he was about 12 years old, his mother dies in a house fire.
Oh.
And
I wondered how he escaped her.
Yeah.
I was thinking foster care or something.
So the fire department comes. He's rescued. The fire man who rescues him adopts him, and Jane is his daughter. So her and Alex grow up together, basically. He's 12. She's older. She's like 5 years older. That makes her about 17 when he comes to live with them in the house. And then her father passes away. So then it's just her and Alex for the last couple of years together. And then they fall in love.
Oh my goodness, okay.
Yes.
That's sort of interesting.
Yeah.
So do you have any plans to maybe do more in the series?
Well, I didn't, but people have been asking me if I was going to write a sequel. And so I'm kind of getting an idea of what I could do.
Further adventures of Alex.
Yes. He wouldn't be the main character, but it would still be in the same town and the same people. And there is another woman in the book who is psychic also. So I might kind of base it on her story.
Do they know each other?
Yeah, they've met.
They met.
They're not friends, but
they were drawn together psychically.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Well, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is part of the storyline. So we'll have to wait and see.
Well, that's sort of interesting now. So then you said you've got another book in the works. You want to talk about that one?
The fantasy book? Yeah. So that one, gosh, I wrote that first before I wrote Alex. I wrote the fantasy story. And I've been sending out query letters forever for that one. And it's hard to sell fantasy. There's so many fantasy writers out there that it's a very tough market.
It's a busy field.
It is. A lot of near misses. And at this moment, it is sitting on an editor's desk, the lead editor of a publishing company. But they had a lot of larger projects already in the works, so they've kind of put it on hold until they can get to it when they finish these projects. So it's kind of just, I'm waiting to see what happens with that one. If they say no, then I'll query other publishers. But
right.
It's made it through 2 readings already. This would be the 3rd reading, so we just have to see.
So that one's sitting on a desk. Yeah. You've got Alex is basically published, and now you're in the process of doing all the promotions and the blogging and the guest blogging.
Yes, which is fun.
Making your worldwide tour. So what's next for you? Do you have any idea?
Well, I do have the 2nd fantasy is written already, the sequel to that, but I'm editing that because that has a lot of work to go. So that's what I'm doing now, is editing the 2nd fantasy book, hoping the 1st one sells, so then the 2nd one will be ready when they are. And then, in the meantime, I'll probably start the 2nd.
Thinking about the 2nd.
The Alex book, yeah.
Okay.
Because I could write 2 stories at once. I'll probably just start writing notes and stuff. I do have to go back and read Alex again and write all my notes down. And when I first write a story, it's very messy. There's notes here and there and everywhere. So I want to go back and actually read the book again and write a whole new set of notes.
When you write the notes, do you write the notes online or do you write the notes out by hand and tape them up all over the walls?
I always have written them out by hand. I haven't written a whole book just online yet, on Word document. But I probably will, because it's so much easier just to have it there. Taking it from note papers, my handwriting has gotten really bad from writing so much, because I go fast and my thoughts are fast, so I'm writing fast. Sometimes it's hard to go back and decipher what I had written. so
you're like people say, keep a dream journal by your bed. It's like, well, you're going to be sound asleep. You're not going to be able to read it.
I don't want to wake up and write it down.
For sure.
So I think the next one I'll probably just go right into the computer and write it out there. And of course, if I'm at work and I get an idea, I'll just jot it down somewhere and then go back and put it in the computer. But so I think I'll try that. If it doesn't work, I'll have to go back to the handwritten notes, but we'll see.
Well, it sounds, though, Dianne, as though you have a lot to keep you busy for, potentially years on end.
I'm hoping, yes.
I'm sure there's no lack of ideas floating around in your brain.
No. I would love to write full-time, and maybe one day I can do that. I have all kinds of stories. And it's funny talking to other people, because they're like, I wrote this book, and it was great, but that's all they have. And it's like, I kind of wish I only had one, because I have 3 or 4 or 5 ideas all the time that I need to write down.
Well, that just means that there's a lot in the chute. You are a creative person, and a writer writes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes, and I don't have a choice. It seems like it
needs to come out.
It needs to be written down, yes.
Well, I'm really glad that you could come today and talk about this book. I can't wait to read it. And we'll look forward to your next one, too, the fantasy, and maybe more of Alex. So
yeah, hopefully.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.